Here are my top 5 red flags when training Indian mums. My name is Arjun Rai. I am from Team Fit Gains and I help people get rid of their did, drop that stubborn belly fat for good. And I also teach them how they can still incorporate Indian food into their diet whilst doing so. Now, over the years, I've trained a lot of Indian mums. A lot of my clients have come to me, they're mothers, they've just had kids or their kids are a bit older, they've lost themselves a bit and they want to get back on track with their fitness. Now, there are 5 common red flags I see a lot of these Indian mums are doing, the same mistakes they are repeating. So I'm going to go through these mistakes and I'm going to give you some solutions at the end of the video. Red flag number 1 is that they are doing intermittent fasting. Many Indian mums believe they need to have a long fasting window so they can burn more body fat, lose more fat, and they feel like skipping meals is the way to go. Most of the time, the way they do intermittent fasting, they just simply skip breakfast, they have lunch and they have dinner. But because they're not eating any breakfast, they get really hungry in between lunch and dinner and they end up snacking on loads of high calorie junk foods, chocolate, biscuits, crisps, Indian tea, donuts. You might even snack on some healthier options like fruit and nuts. But all of these calories combined end up being more calories than what they would have eaten for breakfast. And they end up going over their maintenance calories and hence why they're putting on weight. So even though they're fasting, they're either staying the same weight or putting on, and that's because they don't understand their total calorie intake. Now, fasting is not actually better for fat loss when the calories are matched. So you don't need to skip breakfast. Instead, you should actually have a high protein breakfast. This will keep you full throughout the day and will stop you from snacking on loads of junk food. Red flag number 2 is that a lot of the Indian mums are just doing cardio when it comes to their exercise. They think they need to go running, they need to do all of these high intensity HIIT workouts, but really what they need to be focusing on is strength training. Cardio is good for fitness, but it's not that good for fat loss. You need to stop focusing on the amount of calories you're burning in a session. Your diet will actually take care of the fat loss. Your training should be there to help you build and maintain muscle mass. So you want to do more traditional style strength training. You want to start training like guys train, dumbbells, weights, lat pull down, seated rows, bench press. All these big compound exercises should be part of your training plan. Red flag number 3, using these really light pink dumbbells and they're not going heavy enough, or they're attending these booty pump classes, which are more of a circuit style training. Again, good for your fitness, but not the best for fat loss. Traditional strength training is going to be your go-to training protocol when trying to lose body fat. The key here is we're maintaining your muscle while you're dropping fat. Remember, weight loss is not the same as fat loss. You can lose weight, you can lose muscle. If you do too much cardio in all these classes, you end up losing muscle and fat. We want you to only lose fat without losing any muscle. Red flag number 4 is that they believe that dal is high in protein. They have a really big lack of understanding when it comes to high protein foods. Things like dal and badams and eggs, they're not actually that high in protein. The amount of protein that you need in a day is you take your body weight in kilograms, multiply that by 1.6, and that's your total protein target for the day. That's actually the minimum target. If I weigh 65 kilos and I multiply that by 1.6, that gives me 104 grams of protein for the day. Now, in one egg, there are 6 grams of protein. So imagine you've skipped your breakfast because you're doing intermittent fasting. Then for lunch, you've done bread, couple of eggs. So you're looking at about 12 grams of protein. Maybe if you add the bread and things like that, could be like a 20-gram meal of protein. You're snacking on a load of junk, which is low in protein. And then for your dinner, you end up having like roti with dal. You're only going to be getting a maximum of probably about 20 grams of protein in that meal as well. So you've only had around 40 to 50 grams of protein when your target is 104 grams a day, even having half of the protein that you need a day. So this is a big, big mistake I see with a lot of Indian mums. They just have a real lack of understanding of how much protein they need to be having. Red flag number 5 is a lack of sleep. Indian mums are busy. They're probably working, they've got to look after the kids, they might have to look after the household, they're cooking for everyone. There's a lot of things going on. It often means that they put themselves last. They never prioritize themselves. And they often find that in the evenings when everything's done, they want to chill out, put some mindless TV on Netflix, and then they just end up going sleep quite late. They have to get up early in the morning to get the kids sorted for school, etc. So they're not getting enough sleep. And this is really impacting their energy levels. It can impact their hormones. They can make them feel hungrier the next day. It makes you feel more lazy and you don't feel like doing your steps or your training. You've got to try and go for at least 7 hours of sleep. Now, if you're in bed for 8 hours, it's likely you're getting about 7 hours. Take away 1 hour if you're not tracking your sleep via an app or something like that. So to summarize, the 5 red flags are intermittent fasting, too much cardio, lightweight training, a low protein diet, and a lack of sleep. Now, things you can do straight away to help you is have a high protein breakfast. This sets you up really nicely for the day and it stops you snacking so much so you don't overeat your calories. Number 2 is you can start doing some proper strength training. Maybe get a personal trainer or go online, find some strength training plans that you can start to do at home with some dumbbells, with a bar and some weights, or even going to a gym. You want to start incorporating more protein at every single meal, and generally speaking, around 20 to 40 grams per meal, and you should be able to hit your targets quite easily. You can also top up with some protein supplements like whey protein or a plant protein to help you achieve those protein goals. And finally, I would definitely get you to set an evening alarm. Have a morning alarm that wakes you up every morning. Set an evening alarm. When that goes off, you shut everything down, you get into bed, unwind, and start getting the 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night that you actually need. If you're someone that seems to be struggling with their fitness, their diet, and their training, you could download my free fat loss guide. I'll put the link below. The calorie calculator in there that will calculate how many calories you need, how much protein you need. It'll also tell you your body fat percentage, and it will set you some targets and some goals along the way. It gives you a really good understanding of diet and nutrition and can help you with some example meal plans and templates with the training plans as well. Click the link below and download it.